So we begin the show with the Telegraph's top story. This is inflation. Josh seems to be dominating the headlines generally.
Well, this is something that's going to affect all of us. And the Bank of England met today, and they are increasing the interest rates to meet this 11% increase in inflation by 0.25%. Yep. That's the fifth increase in a row.
Yep.
But that isn't as much or as aggressive as in America, where they've gone for 0.75%. America's and actually the rest of Europe.
From the same base, roughly?
From around the same base. But they want to get on top of it and be aggressive now. Yep. I think England's being a little bit more cautious, the Bank of England, although 3 of the 9 people wanted to push it up to 0.5.
Right.
So I think
they're just... since, I can't remember when it started, it was about 9 months ago, but it's gone up from 0.5% it was on for a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's more than doubled now. In fact, it's trebled in quite a short period of time.
Yeah.
They're having a meeting every month.
Well, that's it, because it is changeable, but it all seems to be moving in the wrong direction, and it seems like it's going to stay in that wrong direction. They're saying for maybe about another, at least for another year and a half or so, until they can get this inflation under
I don't know if you remember this, Dana, but shortly after the big crash 2008, we had Mervyn King, I think, was the Bank of England governor then.
And it went right down.
He said famously that the NICE decade was over. NICE was an acronym. It technically meant something to do with low inflation. You have plenty of growth, but no inflation. It was a sort of perfect harmony of the forces, and we should get used to it. In reality, it didn't happen. It was this, we haven't had a free-for-all economically, but we haven't seen inflation like this. I don't feel like we've seen it.
And it was so steady.
Early 90s.
Okay, yeah, there was a bit of a burst, wasn't there, under Lamont?
Well, I think the biggest one that I can see on this graph was 1979 with Thatcher, when interest rates were 17%. And I'm not going to pretend like I know a ton about interest rates. I just keep thinking, I don't even have a mortgage. Give me a break. But I guess the whole point of it is trying to cool. It's when demand is out. There's too much demand and not enough supply. So I guess what it ends up doing is they want to curb borrowing, as I understand.
You
right?
make money more expensive, and you limit the money supply, and there's not so much sloshing around. The trouble is they've been printing money for like a couple of decades now. Quantitative easing here and in the States, absolutely inflating asset prices. Loads of people who actually own appreciable assets like stocks and shares and houses.
It's huge.
The inflation has gone in there. That hasn't appeared in the inflation index, the numbers you see. So they say, inflation's at about 1.3%, ignoring the fact that houses are going up, ignoring the fact that the stock market is surging, and ignoring the fact that wealthy people are actually benefiting from that.
I can't say that I'm terribly surprised by any of this, maybe because I'm a little bit of a doomsy sort of person, but after 2016, I was just like, don't spend anything, girl. It's all going downhill. And I stuck to it because...
Put it in Bitcoin.
But you know what? Well, didn't that just tank? But I'm actually surprised that it took 6 years to happen.
We felt like we ran off the cliff a long time ago, didn't we? Bugs Bunny style.